Okay, back to it. We're going to make a bloopers. So basically, we just like bounce off each other, and we just don't know how we would get by without talking to each other and going over different things that we have conversations about, and then you instantly feel so much better.
Yeah, like a sense of relief. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I came here earlier today and I was kind of like, this is really, really hard. Like, I need to somehow get some motivation to like keep on going, and Bill just helped a friend out.
And then here we are recording a video with a tiny little microphone. What are friends for, eh? You know, we also have a little cry together sometimes.
We cry and we laugh.
So if anybody doesn't know, my name's Billie, and this is
Anna, and I look after, well, created the Blonde and the Blooms. So I created the Blonde and the Blooms. So we are a florist, luxury florist. We specialise in retail, but also wedding work. So a lot of wedding design work, florals, and soon to be flower school as well. So there's quite a lot of crossovers in between what we do and also what Billie does as well. So it's nice to have somebody who is my bestie, but also we started our businesses at the same time. So it's been really nice to like share that full growth experience with somebody. I'll hand you across to Bill.
So I own a training academy, which trains people in beauty. There are so many training centres that do kind of what we do, but what we do differently is the fact that we work with government funding, and people can come and train with us in regulated qualifications, which is what you would gain normally if you went to, say, a further education centre in, say, the city, like Doncaster College, for example. We do that, but on a private basis, so it's much smaller, it's much more bespoke. And we actually really, really care about where the students are going with their training. We train people in beauty, makeup, holistic therapies. There's loads going on, and we also work with Doncaster Council to deliver like free workshops and things. So we do loads. But I also own a salon in Bawtry, and this is a separate business that we have, but we're both of them are based in Bawtry, so we're literally over the road from each other. Me and Anna's both of our businesses, even though she's expanded and she now has somewhere in Walks Nurseries.
What's next?
Oh yeah, what's next?
We forgot.
So I'm gonna talk about how we met. Oh, okay, so how did we meet?
So
Take the floor.
okay, well, I don't know. Well, I don't know if we should be allowed to say this, but we did meet during a little lockdown party where we shouldn't have really met, but we did.
I was in a bit of a bad space
Yeah.
in my life.
Yeah,
It was just a crossroads in my life.
Yeah.
Lots happened since we met.
but
me,
I feel like we
personally.
really did meet at the right time, and we were both in the same position. We were both
Yeah.
starting out with businesses, and we just clicked straight away.
Mhm.
And then we were singing like karaoke in my kitchen, and
I think that's why it was so nice. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, Anna's so normal, like she's so lovely and so like she's like a fairy. No, you're like so gorgeous, so like speaks really calmly, and then actually when you get her in a party, she's a little bit wild like me. So I think we just made
Yeah.
friends straight away, and then we've just been besties ever since, like soul sisters. But I think it was funny because we opened the salon in 2020, which was obviously a really bad time in lockdown and COVID and stuff. And then it was always the plan for me to open the training side. And when I met Anna, I feel like she just helped me so much personally to get to where I needed to be.
Oh, that's really kind.
Yeah.
I was saying this earlier though, like I genuinely feel like it was your help with setting the salon up, and like you had a lot of clients already, so you were constantly selling me into your like clientele. So that really, really helped. I felt like because originally we didn't have a retail outlet, so everything was done on Facebook, on Instagram.
Yeah.
We didn't do weddings back in the day because just coming out of COVID. So it was nice to it was nice, like a friendly push, so to speak, and I genuinely feel like it gave us that kickstart. And
Also,
just
she
like
didn't need that
momentum.
much of a kickstart.
No,
She's so
no,
talented.
I did.
Yeah,
need a
the work sells itself. We were just raving about it.
Ditto.
Love it. So, How did we meet? Yeah, so basically just bonded
Yeah.
over naughty parties in COVID, and then
Few wines,
few,
bit of Mariah Carey. Oh
yeah,
no, was it? Was
Celine
it Celine
Dion. We
Dion?
love her Celine
Oh, then we
Dion.
had a Britney night too. That
Yeah.
came after. That wasn't a naughty
No, that was a
Yeah.
nice one. All right, okay,
What's next
so
on our list?
few questions. So we're going to go through our 6 questions.
Hmm.
We'll try not to be too long-winded because one thing
Yeah.
about me and you, we can talk for
Yeah.
hours.
Absolutely.
So number one, what would your advice be to somebody who is thinking about setting up a business?
Ooh, that's
Do you want me to go or you go? You
um.
go.
Okay, I'll go. So I would say that if you're going to set up a business, you need to make sure. Oh, I got hair in my mouth. I'm not good with this sort of thing.
Sorry.
So if you're going to set up a business, I would say that for me, I needed a little bit of a mentor. I think having a mentor, somebody that's like, it doesn't have to be in the same business line that you're in, but just having somebody who has already sort of walked your path, just to like, I don't know, just guide you and just to like push you on the way. Because I think when you're used to doing that 9 to 5, quitting that to then do your business, that's a big decision, and a lot of people are really, really afraid. Like I was massively afraid of that. But I think the biggest thing for me is you've got to be ridiculously passionate about pushing it forward, driving it forward, and just not not give up. Also, a lot of research around your niche and how you can really be different. Like set your stall out as doing something different. I think we wouldn't have survived if I just went out and
Did the
put
same old
flowers that
stuff.
you could buy in the supermarket. We could never compete on price with that, so that would never work. So it's just a little bit of research, but yeah, definitely having that passion. What about you?
Yeah, I can't agree more. I think if anybody is thinking about starting out a business and there's something that's been on the mind, I think one thing that I'm grateful that I had from the start, and I think is what drives you forward all the time and keeps you going, because it's not easy at all, is the fact that you are passionate about it. Because in my opinion, the only thing that gets you through the bad times is the fact that you are
Yeah.
passionate about it, because everything else seems against you.
Yeah.
And then you think, well, I'm still going to keep going
Yeah.
because it's like an unknown thing that you don't know why you keep doing it,
Yeah.
but it's
It's
just the
like
love.
an addiction.
Yeah.
No, but a good
it's
addiction.
like it's like a toxic ex. You just keep going.
Yeah,
You've
one of
got to.
those.
Duper. But I also think, like, my advice to someone would be is, like you say, like, for some reason with me, I just was real ballsy, and just I'm very good at following my intuition. I'm so grateful at looking back in my life from such a young age that I just, when something wasn't working for me, I was like, boom, do the next thing. And I knew I wanted to do something that was giving me fulfillment in life. How I knew that at such a young age, I'll never know, because I do think it takes time for you to
Yeah.
realize
I
that.
think it's that desire to like wake up every single day doing something you love rather than
Yes.
doing something that's mundane.
Yeah.
I think it definitely is that keeps you.
There will be
keeps you
times
going.
where me and you cry, and I'll say, I wish I just had a job that where I just had a salary, and
Yeah.
like I don't have to think about it,
Yeah.
because you're just constantly thinking about stuff all the time. It's just it's non-stop.
Yeah.
But when the passion is there are, obviously it's not all bad.
Yeah, and
There are like
do you know
glimmers
what
of
I
hope.
found as well? Like every time I've got, and there's not been that many times, but I've definitely had times after our peak periods where I'm so exhausted, and I think, right, that's it now, I'm done, I can't do anymore. And then something pops up, and you're like, okay, I'm really excited about this.
Yes.
I should be doing it. So it's
Yes,
like
that is same for me.
little cues from the universe to say,
Yes.
don't give up. Like, don't give
Another
up.
big thing about me and Anna are very like we trust in the
Spiritual.
universe. We're quite spiritual. I think you've got to be, otherwise we'd be
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
So focus on, get your crystals in your bra. Just
Yeah.
be positive.
Yeah.
But I think that is our advice mainly. Let's round it up and say
Yeah.
you've got to be passionate about
Yeah,
it.
passion.
Also, one thing I was going to say is have your numbers together. You've got to think about what, it's really obvious, but for some reason, when you're new to stuff and you're quite naive and you don't know, actually, I think it's really nice when you're at that stage in business where
Yeah.
you're so naive about stuff,
My
you're
best
so
bit is
hopeful,
yeah.
you're just like, you're not worrying, you're like, woohoo. You actually think, you don't really think through, like, what is your income, what's your
Yeah.
profit, what's your loss, like you don't think it
Yeah.
through properly. And I think if you've got that down,
Yeah.
and figured out, you're already 10 steps ahead. So
Yeah.
really drill it down, get the numbers down.
And it's
I'm
not
saying
about
that
the
I need to take my own
turnover.
advice.
It's not about the turnover, it's about the profit at the end.
Yes.
But it's not like, I think that's another thing for me, because I'm so passionate, and same with you, like you'll just push through and push through, like, and it's at the start you don't always make a lot of money,
No.
but it is about just that perseverance, but knowing that, you've got to be passionate about something, but equally we've all got families to feed, like
Yeah, we
you
also
need to make a living,
like when we're 3 years, we did our first class in September 2021, so we're 3 years deep now, and I think, there's got to be a time where you've got to pay yourself a decent wage.
Yeah.
You're not just owning a business just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to be serious about it, and I think the sooner you get that in your mind, the better it is.
Yeah, and it does come.
Yeah, it'll come hopefully. So number 2, how much money do you need to set up a business from the ground up?
I guess this is different. I mean, it's different for each type of business. And I think this is about being honest, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are, amazing entrepreneurs, but I genuinely think a lot of them have got like some decent investment behind them. Like for me, it wasn't like that whatsoever. I started my business up just purely on the savings that I had in the bank. It wasn't a lot. And so I think when you do that, though, when you do that purely yourself, um, you are more conscious about the money aspect of it, because that's all you've got, and you've got to stretch it for your things like your marketing budget. So how long is a piece of string for that one? Like for us, it was fairly easy. I think the fact we've got Instagram, Facebook for retail, like Shopify, for instance, it makes it a lot easier. So you could set up a business on not a lot of money, but equally for like you, Bill, I think your story is maybe a little bit different to mine in a way.
I think mine's is nice to know, because with the salon business, we actually took out a business loan. So that myself and my business partner, Jess, and that was obviously at the time, that was like the biggest thing I'd ever done. Like at the time, I lived at home with my parents, like with my mom. So I think, yeah, it was scary, but at the same time, it's so doable. Like, I think the monthly payments, we took it out over a 5-year period, and the monthly payments are something like 200 and something pound a month. So when you think about it, some people pay that times 3 for a car every month, but really you're setting yourself up for the rest of your life. Like, it is an investment that is worth taking. That was that, and then obviously I've been very lucky in having a very supportive partner on the academy side. I'd probably be buzzing who gets mentioned that, who honestly just, I don't think this place would be around if it wasn't for him, and he keeps just pushing me. And obviously there has been times where I've been like, how the hell am I going to pay? We have a lot of on the outset. We've always had a lot of outgoings. Whenever you've got a building involved, there's so much to think about in terms of bills.
We didn't have that to begin with, so for us it was quite straightforward. It was myself, like that was literally it. I worked from home, but same without family. Like I know, like it's so much, like so many people out of my family have been so supportive, and I think you really need that. And again, couldn't have done it without most of the people around me. And the clients.
When people say it takes a village to raise a child,
army.
It takes an army to raise a business owner. I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
But I think we could go into these in more detail if anybody is interested out there. So number 3, what is your opinion on owning a business and being a mummy?
Ooh, yeah, we're both mummies.
Oh my god, I forget that I'm a mummy.
I know, me too, all the time. Luckily, I don't forget to pick him up from school. So my little boy is now 5. One of the reasons I started my business was because I was pregnant with George, and I worked in the corporate world, and I didn't want to go back to that world. I wanted to have more time with George.
Side note, I said this earlier and I want to say it again. Anna, nobody knows this about Anna, but she's a boss bitch. Like, when I first met her, she was so inspiring. I was like, this girl knows what she's talking about. And she had a really like high up like corporate job, really well paid, and she literally stepped away from all of it to do what she was passionate about. Like, that is wild. And I think when you have a mum, it does put things into perspective. It makes you realize what is important for you personally and for them growing up.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely used to that.
It's okay, Holly. Yeah, thank you. Bye. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Blooper.
Yeah, I was definitely used to that. That salary. I worked with some great people, completely different
Yeah.
industry, but it did give me a lot of. Do you know what it gave me? It gave me that confidence to put myself out there, like I was used to presenting at board level. Like,
Mm.
that's one of the things. But yeah, it was a big thing to leave it, and it was a tough decision, and it took me a long time to make it. And
Yeah.
even some of my family were like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
Um, but
I
I've
know exactly how you feel
yeah,
with
but
that.
I've never once spoken up and thought, "I wish I was back doing my old job."
Yeah, I
Let's hope I
did.
never need that job back because they were
Oh,
really nice.
we loved you really. No, but I honestly, this is another
Yeah.
side note, but I think if wherever you are right now, if anybody's thinking of going down the path of starting their own business or already has, and it's a side hustle, I think um, whatever job you have had or are in currently, you will always take something from that. I've
Mm,
had different jobs leading up to what I do now, completely separate to the industry that I'm in, and I've taken something from every single one. And I
yeah,
think as a business owner, you have to wear so many hats,
yeah.
and that helps with that.
I always think, to be fair, now if I did have to go back to my old world, I'd have so much more to give because now,
Yeah,
like,
so
you're
true.
dependent upon yourself. Like, you
Yeah,
know that you've got to make this work. Like, you're more keyed into that profit and loss. Like,
yeah.
where before, it wasn't your
Yes,
money.
YOLO,
It,
turn up at 9 o'clock. Woo!
well, yeah, it wasn't your money that was on the line. Whereas now, like you've got to
Yeah.
make it work. So,
I think
yeah,
what you also learn is you go through the depths of hell when you're owning your own business, and
yeah,
you get personally out mentally, like there's so much that you experience, and I think you grow from each bit.
mm,
Like that, any like bad
yeah,
time you go through, there is growth there, and I think taking that back to working for someone else, you'd just be
yeah.
flying.
Yeah. Yeah, you kill it. Should
Woo!
take me on tomorrow. Could do with an extra 5 grand
I
a
know.
week. A week.
So,
That's a bit
and a
high.
company
A month.
car.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd have
Oh, so number 4, how do you know when it's the right time to turn a side hustle into a business and change career paths?
to. Um. So I think you will know if you wake up in the morning
Mm,
and you're not feeling fulfilled. And like for me, it was the massive creative side of it. I just felt like
yeah,
I couldn't fully be myself.
so
And
true.
I always had this like longing to do something. I just didn't really know what it was. I didn't really know how to express myself. Um, so for me, that was it was having that idea and like that light bulb moment of it,
Mm,
really wanting to do it. And then um, I forgot my name.
mm,
So yeah, it was light bulb moment, and so turning the side hustle
yes, that
into
was
the nine
it.
to five. So I think one was like give your. I think for me it was okay. Make sure you've got some savings, a little bit to fall back on. Give yourself 6 months, a year, depending on what your outgoings
Mm.
are. Like I,
This is why she's a bad bitch, because I never thought like this. I just YOLO.
really.
Yeah, I just went for it.
Oh
I don't
no,
know
I was
why.
scared to death.
I just
You're
cruise through
ballsy.
life. I'm quite ballsy,
Yeah,
but I don't know why.
yeah.
Because I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit naive. Well, I
No.
was. I was.
No, I was like, right, I'm going to make sure that I've got enough to pay the bills for the next 12 months. I gave
Yeah,
myself like a year. And then I just thought, right, if it's not going to work after a year, then I'll go back and get
yeah.
a job.
I think maybe what I had is I never thought if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I thought
That's just
this is
fate. That
gonna
is
work.
just like that ultimate
I'm
belief. And I
just
think that's what
yeah.
makes you
I've got.
so
I don't
successful.
know. I'm just. Thank you.
No, honestly,
You
I
don't feel
do.
like you are
You're
successful
like
personally
uplifting.
sometimes. I'm gonna cry. I think
Don't.
what it is, I've just got this inner confidence, and when I knew that I loved, basically, I just want to make a change. So it sounds so cringe, but I just knew there was such a gap for what we're doing that how could it not work?
Yeah.
And that just creates like an
you've
inner
gotta
confidence.
you've gotta have that self-belief. Like if
Yeah,
you don't
it's like
have
how
that
does
self,
that come?
who the
Where does that
hell's
come
gonna
from?
believe in you if you don't believe in
Yeah,
you?
it's
And
so
like,
cringy. All the like the normal
yeah,
like things, the quotes that you see on Instagram.
yeah.
So true.
And like even I don't know about you, but even when I have like my down days, and yeah, God,
Mm.
sometimes I have that. We all have that imposter syndrome, but I genuinely, hand on heart, think no, this is for me. Like
Mm.
this
It's
is
your
what I want.
calling.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think when you know that you found your calling in life, you just know. It's like when you find your soulmate and you want to marry him. Like, how do you know you
yeah.
want to marry him? You just know. Like,
Yeah.
Do you? So I just think it's just like an inner feeling.
Yeah. And
Spiritual again.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I would 100% agree.
I think oh yeah, I'll answer as well a little bit more in the side hustle thing. If it is a side hustle and you are passionate about it, take what we said in number one, look at the numbers, look at it realistically, and think, how could it not work?
Mm.
And ultimately, we're in 2024. Like, are we not focusing on our happiness? Like,
Yeah.
it's so super duper
It's
important.
not all about the grind.
No.
Although we do need to remind ourselves of that, a lot.
Yeah. And then also, I have come across students in our centre all the time who have like this inner desire. Like, the reason that they are here to train with us is because they've got this inner feeling they want to go for it. Like, it's such a lucrative industry that the beauty industry is, and that they just don't have that inner self belief. And it's like, how can I teach people that? And
Yeah.
hopefully by having these conversations,
Yeah,
it will make it normalize it and make it feel easier for
Yeah.
people. Because I'm just a normal girl. Like, I've never had,
Same.
yeah, we're just normal from Donny, you know.
Like, not privileged, want to work hard,
Yeah.
but want to like put ourselves out there to
But
make a
also
difference.
have the confidence to think that, yeah, you can have, you know, it's like you don't say it out loud because you have
Yeah.
imposter syndrome, but
Yeah.
like a lot of money in your company. Like, why
Yeah.
can you not be a CEO entrepreneur? Like, by saying
Why can you not be
we
successful?
one of our questions mentions being an entrepreneur, and we even was going to reword it because
They
we
were
had
like,
imposter syndrome about it.
Are we entrepreneurs? I
Yeah.
even said that. I was like, I don't know if I am. I mean, my business is like one business, but it's got
Yeah.
three different channels. Like, you've got the
That's
salons,
definitely
the academy, like, and I know like our plans for the future. It doesn't just stop there. I don't
No.
know. So maybe we are. I think we are.
I think we definitely are.
Yeah,
We're doing the thing that we tell other people
Yeah,
not to
what
do.
we just said.
Right. Number 5. Do you have to be ruthless to be in business? Underline ruthless,
Oh,
because
I hate this. I hate
hate
this. So many people say to me, "Well, you'll never make it as a businesswoman because you're too nice." Like,
bullshit.
yeah, like
Are we allowed to swear?
yeah,
Yeah.
we are allowed to swear. I feel like, do you know what? I've come across a
Mm.
lot of ruthless people,
Mm.
but I've always tried to stay who I am. And
Yeah.
sometimes I just think, kill them with kindness. Like I was having this conversation with a few of my friends, and I just think, why can you not be kind and still be in business? Yes, it's about
Who
making
even
a
made
profit,
that rule
but
up?
like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be ruthless
Yeah.
whatsoever.
I tell you who
Yes,
made
be
that rule up.
focused.
Old man who owned.
Now we might get
Yeah.
in trouble.
Oops. Cut that out.
Don't, because it's true.
An old corporate guy who owns loads of
Yeah.
businesses and is really old school.
Yeah,
Like, we're what are we? Gen Z? Are we Gen Z?
I'm not. I'm really old.
Wow. 30.
I'm 36. So I think
Mm.
my answer to that question is, could could I be more successful from being ruthless? Potentially, but would it make me feel good? Absolutely not. And I'm not out for that. And I
No.
genuinely think in this day and age, like, being kind and doing what is morally correct
Yeah.
just feels so much better to me.
Yeah. I will add with one thing, like, you can't change who you are as a person. Like,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
naturally ruthless, like, you do you. But I think if you're genuine as a person and you lead with that, how can you change who you are? Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to sleep at
Same.
night. So
Absolute
how
same.
can you? But why can you not have both? It's like,
Yeah.
you hear so much stigma of like being a mom and having your own business and going back to work, and I'm experiencing that at the minute. I had a baby. She's 10 months now, so that's been my year this year, which is really difficult. But it's just stigma, and I just think, why can you not have it all? Like, who says not?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I-
I don't think you have to be ruthless at all. I
No.
think it's nice. One thing my nanny said, and she's not with us anymore, God bless her. She said it's nice to be nice.
It is.
And
It's nice to
absolutely,
be
it's
nice.
it's the most truest statement ever.
And I feel like that's what's got us to where we are now. Like,
Yeah.
people buy people. Like, I don't care what industry you're in, people buy people, whether you're the CEO, whether you're working in
Yeah.
retail, greeting customers daily, whether you're like painting a bride's face for the
Yeah.
wedding. People buy people 100%.
True.
You don't need to be
Drop the mic.
mean.
Last one. What? Oh, have we done that? Oh no, we haven't. What's your opinion on being an entrepreneur?
Oh, did we do that one?
No, we just mentioned being an entrepreneur.
My opinion. Oh, I don't know if I have one.
I don't.
Other than I quite like it.
Yep.
If I am one, then I do quite like it.
Okay. You are one.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's interesting.
It's interesting. It's never one day is not the same. It's nice being your own boss and being in control of what you can do. But on the other hand of that, that's hard. When you're in control of your day, like if you're a procrastinator, which sometimes is hard not to be, there's no one saying to you, right, you got to be in at 9 o'clock. You have a lunch break at this time and you leave at this time. You got to do this, this, and this. Like, there's no one telling you. So you've got to be in charge of your daily tasks. And those daily tasks run the business and get the growth and do all the things that it takes to keep it going. And that is what's hard about being an entrepreneur, being in control of what your destiny.
So I think with me, like, time management would be, I could be so much better with time management. So much better. In fact, we should have done this like 2 weeks ago.
Someone who knows Anna was going to be watching this show thinking,
I know her too well. I am an open book. But yeah.
But that's what makes you amazing. Like, you're an artist. You can't have everything. She's like this, la la la. She'd be reflexing a rose like, la la la. But actually, she's got about 20 appointments to get to.
I've like quadruple booked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's like a little bit of ADHD.
But
I don't know.
You don't give yourself enough credit. You are absolutely winning. You are. I think what you don't realize is how much you do, and that's why sometimes it feels like a lot.
Yeah, and there's just so many different aspects to running as a business, and I guess we can go into that maybe another
on
time.
another day.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Today?
But I think this was good.
Yeah. It's been really
interesting.
Nice,
actually, it's been quite uplifting.
Nice vibe.
Yeah. Okay, thanks guys.
Yeah.
Tune in for another 6 at 6.
Yeah. Oh, and let us know if you've got any questions that you want us to answer, like anything.
If anyone at all is watching this.
Yeah.
Through the imposter syndrome thing. Then please, if anyone's interested in any kind of question, or they're thinking about opening their own business, or you're struggling with your current business and being a mummy, or whatever it is, hit us up. Yeah. We'll give you our advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll drop it on the next video.
Love it.
It's a wrap.